This sort of thing happens only to people that make knives.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you ain't making a knife, it ain't gonna happen to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Last week I busted one, clean in half.
Well, after I saw the cracks, I busted both of them clean in half. I was like, God damn it.
Oh. Hey, now,
Yeah.
don't y'all look at something. What y'all think about that out there?
Bring it closer, please. Is that wow? Is that clear? Oh, cool, man. That's awesome. Super clear.
Three, two, one, zero,
You're listening to the Knives Templars.
Get ready, y'all. We about to Bobby Boucher you. Bam!
I got a piece off of the wagon that Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon.
Pinto sauce. I like that. Pinto sauce.
Pinto sauce. You're tuned in to the Knives Templars podcast, featuring Odysseer Special Sauce Pinto.
I was a mean kid.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Eric T.R.E. Rivers.
Holy crap, I built something.
Don the Train Watson.
I can pay off all my credit cards and beef jerky credit line at Bucky's.
Joey the Riot Terrier.
Caution delay will make you smack your lips and anyone getting too close to your plate.
Mark Vasallo.
You drinking my soupy?
And Chip Shegman Carlisle. And now broadcasting alive, it's the Knives Templars. Coming to you live from Porkhouse Studios located in Hartselle, Alabama and other U.S. locations. This is the Knives Templars podcast. We are the coolest knife-making podcast on the planet, and we are downloaded around this big blue marble in over 24 countries. We are on air, on demand, and heard worldwide in all of your favorite apps and at knivestemplars.com. Man, oh man, here we are back again. I enjoy these 2 weeks coming back together, and want to welcome everybody to the Knives Templar podcast. You have season 4, episode 38 tonight, and it's going to be a special one. First, I have to say, I'm looking at my buddy Joey the Riot, and he's got his name up on the screen tonight as "Put That on a Cracker." And Don, I want to know, have you paid off that beef jerky yet?
Just about, man. I got a few more payments.
You know, I stopped at old Bucky's today. I was I'll tell you about that here in a few minutes, but they've got plenty to charge it back up again. So whenever you're ready, ready. Odysseer, you in the bathroom tonight? You got a recording, a new recording location.
Yeah, he does.
You're in your son's bedroom. You took it over as your recording studio.
Oh yes,
didn't you?
yeah. Well, I mean, he vacated, so might as well use it for something.
That's the best thing in the world. My recording studio is one of my son's old bedrooms, and it's got its own bathroom and trash can, and I'm good to go. Hey guys, welcome everybody to the show tonight, and going to let you know a couple things. A couple of us aren't here tonight. Eric, let's keep him in our prayers. He and his family are fine, but they had a terrible storm come through his hometown where he lives last night. And do some damage, tornado type damage. He said it was not a tornado, but he's contributing time in the community this evening, helping to get all of that cleaned up. So keep the people in Wichita Falls, Texas, in your prayers. And thank you, Eric, for reaching out and helping the community. That's just I wouldn't expect any less from a guy of your character. Additionally, where is you drinking my soupy Guadalupe Vasallo at?
Colorado?
I think he's up in the mountains climbing. Looks like.
Yeah, he's somewhere playing mountain climber or something out there, but he's gone on an adventure, so he's not with us this particular week. So we just made sure we had the cream of the crop here. So we've got that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
There you go. That was pretty weak.
Oh yeah.
There we go, Don. And
Colorado.
Colorado, he's at. Just want everybody to know that we're going to change our show up a little bit for a few episodes. We we've got a backlog of people to go on the Maker's Mark, and we will bring that back in a couple episodes. But we wanted to bring something a little special and shake it up. So this is a special event. Also, want to make sure everybody knows that you need to go out and visit knivestemplars.com. If you go out
That's
there,
right.
you're going to see, yes, if you go out there, you're going to be able to see particularly deals that our sponsors are providing, like the is it KT100? What is it on Phoenix Abrasive? Help me out here, guys.
KT10,
Knives
right?
Templars.
Templars,
Templars
Templars 10,
10.
Templars 10. There we go.
Templars 10.
Templars 10, Templars 10. And I'll tell you why I'm slow here in a second. And also you'll see a list of all of our folks that we feature that are makers out there, a growing community. We've got our own little knife show, so to speak, and tables set up within the makers area and equipment and supplies providers. But also you'll get to see Otisier's picture. And I must tell you, it's a beautiful, beautiful picture of a fine, fine man. So got to go out there. Why do I say that?
Because you can.
Because I can.
You can.
I also Odisier had this. He's holding a knife in his
Oh,
picture,
what's that?
and he had kind of a frowny face. So I
Oh.
used one of them apps and put the most sincere, beautiful little smile on him. So if you go to knivestemplars.com, you will see this AI generated smile that no one would know was generated. He is the happiest little Brazilian I've ever seen. So, yeah. Also, I think if you look at Eric Rivers, you'll see he's got an enhanced smile too. So, visit knivestemplars.com.
I
Otis
like
here.
that beard you put it on me.
That's right, Otis here. So instead of the brew review tonight, let's do the Jello Sunday review. What are you having tonight?
Oh, my wife made some dessert from scratch.
What kind of
Don't know
dessert
what
is
it
that?
is, but it's good. Got some strawberries in there, very creamy,
Oh,
absolutely delicious.
Looks
I
like
mean,
it looks like you've got
she is extremely good
yeah,
on making desserts. I prohibited her to doing a whole lot of them.
yeah.
I don't want to end up looking like, bald Santa. So keep the desserts to a minimum.
Well, it's a beautiful red and white dish. Now you look like you've got some type of cream down in it, so vanilla or a Cool Whip or
Yeah,
a
yeah,
milk.
yeah.
But yeah,
No,
it
no,
looks
no.
man, oh man.
That's cool. What you
Hey,
got,
Don.
Don?
hey, I was going to say that's the first time I ever seen Pinto smile and laugh. It's right now since I've known him. You can tell it's good, man. You can tell it's good.
Get that boy a Sunday. Get that boy a Sunday.
That looks good, bro. My gosh.
Yeah, yeah. What you
Fresh,
been up?
ripe strawberries.
Well, while he's eating away there, I want to say put that on a cracker when I look at your picture because that's what it
I'd
says.
put that on a cracker. Put that in a cracker in a heartbeat.
Joey, what have you been up to, brother?
Just work, man. Work and making a few blades, and
I see you making a lot of blades compared to me. And let me ask, are you bridging a little bit out into the I'm working in the Tobot business and kind of transitioning into making knives a little bit as a business too, or
well, eventually, I'd like to get to that point. Just whenever I have free time, I make blades.
does the president of your company ever look at you and say, "Get back over here and work on this stuff"?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I just wanted to make
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Well, you've got a nice
yeah.
shop, so I mean, you got to be able to you got to be multifaceted. But yeah, I've seen you turning out such beautiful blades, and getting ready for shows. So I mean, you're putting out a lot. So
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is I'm at the point now where I'm just I want to be able to finish a couple blades to bring to the show, but I don't know if I will. So I'm at the point where I'll have what I have.
yeah.
It's time
Are
is
you
limited, and
are you even having to use a forge out there or an oven right now? Because y'all been running like 106, 110 degrees, if not hotter.
Oh,
well,
God.
I've tried to stay away from making Damascus as much as possible.
Yeah.
Wintertime
Yeah,
still.
I was making some Damascus, and then I can't remember a summer where we just had this constant heat, just every day, every day, every day.
Somebody warned Otis here to put that glass down. He's digging in it so much to get that dessert out. He's going to end up eating some glass and have to leave the show.
Yeah, he's getting on.
He,
I'll
Hey
wait
he
on
man,
his
was.
don't be
tongue to come
jealous.
out.
I was waiting for him to lick the
I'll wait.
inside of that
Yeah.
glass. Otis.
Oh, I'm not.
Like,
I thought that's why he was turning around.
I
I'm
would
like,
if I could.
damn.
You're going to the bottom.
Gene Simmons ain't got nothing on your tongue,
No.
buddy. Look at that thing.
Whoa.
So yeah, it's been hot down there in Louisiana. So you've is your shop air conditioning parts or?
The inside, what I call the clean room is.
Yeah.
But where I grind at is it's definitely not air conditioned.
Yeah, tomorrow it's supposed to be very humid and hot here, so I'm gonna go trout fishing down in a 55-degree river and just use my body as a heat exchanger and just.
Man, I tell you what, we went to I guess Destin, Florida, or whatever for vacation, and the as hot as it was outside, the water was like cold.
Really?
I went to the same place right where we were probably within 5
It was
miles.
like
of
Miramar Beach.
Yeah, I was in Miramar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. Going out in the water, it was amazing how cold it was.
It was cool. It was like I was like, man, I can't believe. And I mean, it was 100 degrees a couple of days, and we were out there, and I was surprised how cool the water was.
I think that's why we're seeing a few more of the animals come up closer to shore, because usually that heat drives those sharks and rays and things out a little bit further in the summer months when we're swimming. But we've seen more things where not necessarily more attacks or whatever, but a lot more photos of sharks swimming up on and around the beach. That I think it's just cooler waters.
We saw
that's
2
why I don't go to the
manatees.
beach.
You saw manatees in Miramar?
Mm-hmm.
How lucky were you? That's
we saw two manatees, a dolphin, and then one day my daughter noticed there was a purple flag flying on the beach, and which is stinging or poisonous, venomous marine life, and that was because somebody spotted a stingray.
Gotcha.
So I didn't see it, but somebody else down the beach spotted it.
See, I thought that would have been purple flag meant
jellyfish or something.
Well, I thought it would have meant cleanse yourself in Lake Minnetonka or something like that. Purple rain, purple rain. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a beautiful beach to go to. I think it's my family's favorite beach to go to now. And it's just
definitely ours.
It is gorgeous. So much to do there. Did you make it over to 38 of that restaurant? No.
No, I didn't.
I'm taking pictures.
I mean, the kids just drug us. We had Ben and Jerry's like twice.
Right.
And we ate a couple of different places. It was our first time going there, so it was all new to us.
Yeah. I'm not faulting you, but it's when you do go back, you got to check that place out. It's down at 30A and just most delicious food and great atmosphere. But anyway, there's not a bad place to eat there. Did you eat any
we ate at like Fat Joe's.
Yeah, good place.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was real good.
Grimaldi's Pizza?
No, I wanted to though.
Good pizza. Good
pizza. That's what I heard. There was another. Somebody else recommended that place.
Yeah. Well, you can that's the thing about vacations. You can always go back.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we plan on it too. It was nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
But it was hot, but. Yeah, like I was saying, hadn't been doing a whole lot, just work and making blades when I can. That's about it.
Making a lot more than me, brother. Otis here. How's things in Laurel, Maryland?
Well, Maryland weather is funny. Talking about weather, right? It's been hot and then some severe storms, the usual Maryland stuff. I mean, cold one day, next day is steamy hot.
People don't realize the number of tornadoes that shoot through that area over into Delaware. It's something else. Yeah, Joey.
When you say hot, Otis here, like
what's hot to you?
We got
what's hot to you?
we had a few days. Well, I would say over a week where we were at a good 99 at least.
but
Okay.
also keep in
with
mind
extremely
It's
high
dry over
humidity.
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
High humidity. The
it can
humidity
be
is
90. I'm interrupting you. I apologize, but you're exactly right. My folks live over in the Delaware area and around the coast and this, that, and the other with family. It can be 90 degrees and almost 100% humidity, and
yep.
you walk 10 feet out the door and you're soaking wet.
And the thing is, I work, outside, so to speak, and it's in an unconditioned shop, right?
Mhm.
Doors are open every day of the year, and that steamy, sticky, basically disgusting feeling of a weather that we have over here is just terrible. It kills me.
And you freeze in the winter. Freeze in the winter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
freezing in the winter. There you go.
Yep.
But I don't mind the winter at all. I actually prefer the cold.
Yeah, me too.
We had a few weeks, 2 weeks back in December of 17 into 18, as it was just when I went into this new shop, and we had 2 weeks where we were at around 15 degrees for you know all day for basically 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's
And the
nice.
shop keeps on working, the doors are open, and you gotta keep on going. I mean, and then summertime, well, you pretty much melting.
Yeah, keep on going.
Keep on going. You ain't got no choice.
But you got
Yeah.
good food there too. Another good place that's got good food. Good
Well, I
baseball
mean,
team too.
anywhere you can get some good steak, you got good food. So I'm
Yeah.
good with that.
I was thinking about the crabs, but
I don't like crabs.
yeah,
Oh,
They smell like crabs. I don't like it.
that's good. That's more for the rest of us.
I mean, on the other hand, I mean, I had since we last spoke, I been working on a knife. I broke it, then I had to restart it,
We heard you.
and
We
I
heard
was
the.
finally able to finish it. The second version. The thing is, once I damage a piece, I won't do that same piece again.
Mm.
It's for me. It's done. It's cursed. It's gone. I don't want it. So I redrawn uh, the knife on a new shape, and yeah, I'm happy with the final results. I'll be taking some pictures and posting it tomorrow.
Hold it up
So
and hold them up for the viewers to see, so that
oh yeah, of
because the listeners
course.
can't see, but we've got 4 viewers here, so
We got
oh
four
yeah.
viewers here.
you guys are
Listen
going
to
to be
this.
impressed. Put your pants back on, buddy.
Everything Pinto makes is amazing.
Everything
So
he
this
makes is
one here,
nice.
right?
Oh,
I
look at that.
modeled after the old style.
Oh yeah.
Man,
What you
you
call it?
pulling on my heartstrings.
Yeah. Got that coffin handle too.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
Oh, that's
That
nice.
is sexy.
Okay, that's
Oh
all
That's
you
yeah.
get
my
to say. That's all you get to say. We're going to talk about it more later. That's what they call a byline, a preview. Put it down,
Okay.
put it away,
Yeah.
zip it all back up.
Oh.
Put it away, and zip it up. All right, done. What's going on in
Put it
Florida?
away and zip it up.
Zip up. Oh man. No, I'd been well, I finished up stabilizing. I've been doing some I had a friend of mine wanted me to do some pin blanks for him, hybrid pin blanks. So I've been doing that. This is kind of something I've got into doing. You might be able to see it. Got that honeycomb.
That's pretty cool, man.
Looks like manatee bone that you're using there.
Yeah. It's this aluminum honeycomb. That
It looks like manatee bone with bald eagle beak.
yep.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
You know
Yeah.
that? Yeah, it looks like the manatee. Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about that? Did you hear? Speaking of manatees, you hear about that poor manatee that died?
No. Mm-mm.
There's 2 manatees they had in captivity, and it was 2 brothers. And unfortunately, they got romantic with each other here recently, and the other one
Yep.
punctured the other's intestine, which is unfortunate. But
Yeah.
get those things out in the wild where they can date. Good gosh. So you've been doing well, that's not dirty or anything. It's like,
No,
come on.
it's just funny.
It's kind of like
And you said they were brothers.
They were brothers. It's kind
Man,
of like being in prison,
Even
you know.
worse.
Yeah, it's kind of like
yeah,
being in prison.
sound like.
Put those get those guys out there where they can date. That's all I have to say about that.
But no, I just
Yeah.
been doing some pouring some hybrid blanks. There's one of them I did. I've never done a clear,
Yeah, that's
and
beautiful.
that's
That
a
would be
Yes, it
that'd
is.
look good on a fillet knife or something.
yeah. I
Yeah,
was sitting there with maybe a blue liner. I know the guy people can't see it, but
There you go.
little blue liner with it.
That looks
yes,
good,
yes,
Don.
Yeah,
sir.
it's something I messing around with. So, but no, I've just been having fun, man. Working on things around the house, and
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, and I know that you're not, I'm not interfering with what you do by saying that. We've got a new sponsor, Emily with Casting Crafts. And that's, you can find her at castingcrafts.com. And she makes all types of handles. And she's made me a set here recently. And I love the turkey hunt. So she took a couple turkey tail feathers and got that gold and that transition into the tail. And she, cast those into two fine scales for me, and I'm going to back those up with some brown liner. So, guys, check out castingcrafts.com and see what Emily's got. And if you don't see what you're looking for, contact her. She'll be sure and make it for you. But Don, man, your work looks as beautiful as hers. Don't get me wrong, we're knife makers, and you're also making handles, but you've developed quite the skill set. Now, are you using cactus juice? Is that what the acrylic is, or what?
no, the on these right here. When I do the hybrid blanks, I use a product called Super Clear. It's the epoxy that's made here in Florida.
Gotcha.
It's the only food grade product out there
Right.
certified.
Is that like a
Um,
bar top coating?
yeah, it is.
Gotcha.
It's a
Gotcha.
bar style.
Would that work on the, let's say, if I were to try and make some micarta?
No, you would have to use something like a slow set, um,
Yeah.
a slow
Yeah.
set
Or,
resin, which they have that, but it would set up too
yeah.
quick if you use this stuff.
You ought to try this, Otis, here, if you're going to get into making micarta. You use flour and water and newspaper, and you layer it
Mm-hmm.
and let it dry.
Yep.
I
That's a
don't
true
follow.
statement right there.
That is true. That is a formula.
No,
Oh,
it's not. No,
it
it's
is.
not.
That's paper mache.
You did it.
That's paper
That's
mache.
what it is. That's what it is.
That's how you make pinatas.
Disclaimer: nobody tried to make that.
No, I did that in like fourth grade. We did that in
I
third and
did
fourth
too.
grade.
We made like a 6 foot tall giraffe to put in the library in school out of paper
Yep.
mache.
Yep, sure
It's a
did.
good place.
I
It's a good
have
place to
some.
start.
I have some seat belts that I cut out of a truck that I failed inspection,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I think that will make some great micarta.
Yeah, it would.
Let me tell you,
It
what I
would.
saw is I've seen some people use some acrylic, excuse me, automotive acrylic, the
Yeah,
Bondo
fiberglass.
acrylic,
Yeah.
fiberglass, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And put like the seatbelt material and other things in that. Now that stuff, it hardens, it turns brown when you do it. I haven't seen a clear
Over
one.
time,
Yeah.
yellowish.
So yeah. So and some of them, actually, the ones I used to use to make molds for making soft fishing lures, to pour fishing lures, rubber baits, it would turn brown. So just watch your colors. But a lot of people use that, and it's very hard, very very hard.
Yeah, I used that before, and it sets too quick
Does
to
it?
really get. Yeah, I made my own micarta before, but if you was going to do something like that, I would definitely go with like Super Clear's got a product that it takes like 24 hours to set, and I would use that. That way, it can permeate the paper or the felt or whatever. I've done it out of felt too. It would help soak into the felt and getting hardened. So, but this stuff here sets up in about 45 minutes, and it wouldn't penetrate like you want. Just like
Mm,
the fiberglass siding that you're talking about that you can get Bondo, it sets
yep.
up too quick to really get a good bond in that.
Don, what if we took the flour, the water, and the newspaper, made paper mache, and then you harden that in a mold of acrylic? Do you think we could get away with that? Paper mache scales?
Sure, you can do anything if it's dry.
We can
Now
try that.
whether it will hold, Once you grind into it, that'd be different.
Or catch fire. Catch
Yeah,
fire for
catch
sure.
fire.
So speaking of catching on fire, I need to get back on fire. I left for North Carolina.
Wait, wait, wait,
Uh,
wait, 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 wait.
yeah.
Talk about catching on fire. I saw you posted some pictures of that big old tuna knife.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Tell us
that
about
that
that real
we're
quick.
gonna get into the whole episode and what we're making. I mean, we're only 25 minutes in right now.
No, that one you ain't making. You already finished and
Well,
sent it
but
away.
but you're getting into my creative. Respect my authority. You're getting in my creativity. We'll come to that in just a minute. And right now, I want you to know that Joey, you've got someone eyeballing you in the background. What has she got? Another dessert.
Some more dessert.
There you
there we
go.
go.
So this episode is brought to you by the wives who make desserts. Also,
Name it Wives and Desserts.
also want to let you know, hey guys, if you are interested in a great grinder or a forge, and I will tell you that I will be looking to get a nice new forge here in the future. I'll have two forges, and I'm going to get an Apollo forge from Brian Housework. And if you want to check out the products that he has, you can buy plans, you can buy assembling or products that you can assemble, you can buy certain parts, or you can cut the whole thing out yourself. If you go over to housemade.us, Brian and his team will set you up with some great materials to make your own forge. Beautiful, beautiful forge. Additionally, if you want a grinder, he has plans and materials to assemble yourself a is it a Revolution 2x72?
Yes.
Yep.
And another great product out there. So guys, go out and visit housemade.us. So now that I've set the world on fire to go buy a forge from Brian, I this time last week I was coming off the river after bouncing up and down, but I had the good fortune growing up in North Carolina. I love to go back there for holidays, and we went last Thursday and found a place on the Nantahala River. Nantahala River in North Carolina. It's near Cherokee, North Carolina. And it's this gorgeous river. And by day, people raft down it. The Nantahala, is it Nantahala Outdoor Company, I believe it's called, and other rafters companies take people up and down the river. But I brought my fly gear and everything, and I was out there catching rainbows and browns and just having the time of my life. And then I at night we cooked and ate good and got up the next day and fly fished some more. Then went down the river for 3 or 4 hours and didn't see any bears, but we did see some bees. My daughter-in-law to be had a bumblebee. She's a nature lover. She's a wonderful young lady, and she took this bumblebee that was soaked when she got there about 7 miles downstream, keeping it alive the whole way, and set it free. And our hippie raft guide gave her a big hug at the end because he was a bee lover too. So, hey, keeping bees alive one at a time. Got up next morning and went and hiked over a mountain in my old rear end. Let me tell you, you need to pay attention to topography maps before you ever get out on the trail. Because about 3 miles in, I found out I had to walk uphill on about a 7-degree grade for a couple miles. And I'm alive today to tell you I made it. I did it with just a couple rests, and I do know why I don't do that stupid stuff anymore uphill, and in the Smoky Mountains. But I'm looking forward to going back, maybe doing some hiking there as I'm trying to get down some weight and everything. But I turned around Sunday, drove my wife back to Alabama, and then turned back around Monday morning, drove back to North Carolina, up to Dobson, North Carolina, spent a week there with work, and they've got the Mitchell River there. So I went and hung out in the trout streams there, catching trout after work this week.
Oh,
Got up
nice.
this morning, drove back to Alabama. Guess what I'm doing tomorrow morning?
Going back to North Carolina?
No, I'm going to a trout stream. They've got about 30 minutes below me here in Alabama, 54-degree water, 55-degree, whatever, and catching rainbow trout. And then I'm going to come home and take a 2-day nap because I'm
There you
worn
go.
out.
I'll bet.
Are,
I'll
you-
bet,
are you
man.
are you
Something I
just
never did. I'd
doing
like to do that.
the catch and release, or are you eating some of them?
I bite their heads off and throw them back.
Okay,
Man,
I'll take that.
got a regular Ozzy Osbourne right here.
Well, the otters have to eat too. I always like to look on the Trout Unlimited guys' faces when I bite their heads off and throw them back. They look a little shocked. No, here let me tell you about trout.
Chip's like the Ozzy Osbourne of the fishing world.
No, I was a bass fisherman for 30 years and sold my boat and bought waders and started fishing trout. And it's a wonderful fish to catch of any size. But if you do you like salmon, guys?
Yes,
Yep.
I do.
See, and I'm not a huge salmon person because I don't really particularly like a stronger fishy taste. And if you cook salmon right, it's good and I love it. But for the most part, I would rather eat a whitefish. I love grouper. I like redfish. I like any type of sunfish, any type of walleye, things like that are just delicious fish to eat. Well, if you eat trout, it is what I tell people, hey, it's the redfish or the flounder of the salmon species.
It reminds
It's
me of the croaker.
Well, the trout has the consistency of kind of the flakiness and everything of a salmon, but it's a very mild tasting fish, and you can mix it with different ingredients or just salt and pepper it or smoke it. So I am headed down there tomorrow because go ahead.
Can you put it on a cracker?
You
Cracker?
can put it on it. You can put it on a cracker. You can put the cracker in your mouth and you can eat it. It is delicious.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'm going to go catch my 5 tomorrow because you can bring 5 home, and I'm taking a guy that ain't ever trout fished before, and I'm going to put a spinning rod in his hand. I'll be fly fishing. I'm going to put a spinning rod in his hand because he doesn't eat the fish either. So he's going to carry his 5 out of there too, and he's going to clean them and just donate them to me afterwards. Is that legal?
Good deal.
Can you take somebody? If they ain't going to eat it, I guess I can eat it. He's caught his 5. Don't matter who eats it.
Nope.
Yep.
I can see the game warden shows up in my house and says, "Let me see in your mouth." That don't look like you caught that fish. No, but I hope to take about 10 of them out there tomorrow. I'd like to smoke 5 and eat 5, so we'll see what happens. So that is where
nice.
I am right now.
I don't think I've
That's
ever
a good
had
deal,
smoked
man.
fish.
Oh, it's
Yep.
very good. Smoke it.
I mean, Maryland has some trout as well, but usually it's stocked. And
Yeah.
back in March, April into early May, and that's done.
Well, I will tell you, I will also be out. Did you guys know that I'm a hat ambassador?
I believe you are.
And that
Yeah, I
brings
mean, over there, what's his name?
Little
Grizz.
Grizz.
Well, I will tell you, Little Grizz is a sponsor of the show. Not a knife maker, but he's just so dang cool, and he makes my hats that I want to let you guys know to go out and visit etsy.com/hatsbygrizz. And if you want to see how good those hats are, just look at my pictures on Facebook. I'm an ugly man wearing a beautiful hat. It improves me just a little bit from the hat up. But
I gotta say though, you did look like
Smokey the Bear.
No, a Canadian Mountie.
Mountie, yeah, I heard.
Yep.
I
When
heard.
Matt had put the little GIF, and I was like, I looked, I was like, yeah, it
Yeah,
kind
he
of does.
It does.
I've got 4 hats by Grizz right now, and I'm working on ordering number 5. But I will tell you, I heard a lot. Smokey the Bear, Mountie, Canadian, weirdo.
Hey,
Well, my daughter-in-law didn't like that mustache I was sporting, so
I think that's what it was. That's
it's probably the
that's probably
mustache.
what it was.
Yeah. But yeah, go out and visit Hats by Grizz on Etsy and take a look at what he has to offer. What are we drinking tonight, guys?
Well,
My brew tonight is a glass of Southern iced tea that is lightly sweetened.
oh, nice. Oh, buzz balls, chillers.
A cranberry
Oh.
chiller.
Oh,
What is a buzzball cranberry chiller?
Oh, it's a ball that gives you a buzz.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cranberry flavored.
What's the alcohol content on that?
I think it's 15, 17.
Yeah,
It's
pretty stout, bro.
One of them
It's pretty stout.
twofers. That's a twofer.
So
That's
you
a
have-
twofer right there, Don. That's a twofer, buddy.
no wonder he's laughing and smiling tonight.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
15.
Oh, Yeah, no.
So where do we get
Then
these?
he topped that sucker off with that old strawberry delight dessert he
Whoa.
had.
There you
Yeah.
go, sis.
Where do we
Yeah,
get these buzz
put
balls
it on
at?
some ice. Right
Oh.
there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you like your local grocery store? They'll have them like in a end cap,
Yeah.
Yep.
like just and there's all kind of flavors like coconut.
Yep. I don't like the coconut. The
Yeah,
cranberry is better.
there's like what, like 10 flavors, Otis here. Like there's
At my
there's like a
local store,
bunch.
about 5 or 6.
They got
Yeah.
those at the Publix, Don?
Yeah, yeah. I saw them in Florida. Yep.
Huh. I'll have to see a Publix and try one. I'm just drinking iced tea tonight, guys.
First time I had it, I say, okay, now I know why
Mm-hmm.
this thing is called a buzzball.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Can you
I'm
do
doing
me a
the same
favor?
thing.
You see the little red light on
Hey,
the
you
front
got
of your
my
mic?
picture on that mug? You got my picture on that mug?
I got Otis here's picture on the mug.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Otis here. Do you see the little red light on the front of your microphone?
I have a green light in front of the microphone.
Oh, can you blow into that, please? Don't stop. Don't stop until I tell you to stop. Longer.
No.
Take him to the hospital. Let's get a blood sample because we can't get a hair test.
That was on purpose.
Well,
Oh,
thank
man.
you. Don, you're drinking cow.
Yeah, I am, man. And iced tea. So
And that's very good. That's
Yep.
predictable. That is very nice.
I don't think we planned this. Everybody's drinking iced tea. Well, except Otis here.
Yeah.
But
So you just got some Heisenberg iced tea tonight?
I got some Gold Peak lemonade tea.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go. I'm saving mine for when I go to take my nap tomorrow. When I get back from trout fishing and bite their heads off and put them in the freezer, I'm gonna or put them in a soak. Then
I will say this though.
Yeah.
I did get a bottle of Remus single barrel.
oh.
So I'm just saying we're gonna try it.
I've got an unopened bottle of Bullet. That's my thing.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
I seen that. I almost went for the Bullet, but then I saw the Remus and started reading reviews. So I was like, let's give it a try. Let's see.
I didn't drink an awful lot. I don't drink an awful lot. I had maybe 3 beers in a week. But when I was at the Natahala Outdoor Center, I walked up to a place after we came off the water, and it said shots and beer. And I asked my family member, "Would you like a beer?" They said, "Sure." And I got up there and I said, "Hey, bartender, what do you got in the refrigerator back there?" Because he had some liquor bottles. He turned around and he says, "Well, I've got," and I just keyed in on his name tag. His name was Fish.
PH?
Fish. He was Fish. And I was Chip.
Chip and fish. Fish and chips.
Fish and Chip.
Fish and
So
chips.
we immediately became a hit. And everybody else thought that was cool as well. So then Fish hooked Chip up with a couple tequila shots and a fat tire. And all of a sudden I was just jovial. And the party began. Everybody was we were dropping one-liners, and I don't know how many things you could have fit Fish and Chip into, but we did it, and we were just we overdid it, I would say. But Fish and Chip, that's my brew review. Fish and Chip had a good time at the Natahala Outdoor Center.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, have you guys been up to Canada?
Never have. Yeah, I have. I've been
once.
fishing one time.
Yeah, I've been
Only once.
I've been to Sarnia and all, but I have ordered from Canada, and I want you guys to know that if you order from the guys up at Maritime Knife Supply, that they can get products on both sides of the border and international. They've got grinders, even heat kilns, and all the supplies in the world that you. I think they even carry those combat abrasives at that particular place there, and they can ship that for you anywhere. So you guys go out and visit Maritime Knife Supply. They'll hook you up. Guys, let's jump into what I want to talk about tonight.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
The object of tonight, so I make Otis here happy. I want you to be a little descriptive. This show Episode 38 is the Maker's Quest and Narrative. And I want to talk a little bit about our journey in knife making. So let's tell the listeners a little bit about the very first knife you made, how you made it, what the results were, and then let's talk about the latest knife you made. Joey, you can the ones before the two you just made if you'd like, or you can bring those into the picture as well because it's always a learning process for everybody. And let's just walk on a little knife making journey here this evening and see where it takes us. So let's go. Everybody, hold up a finger. The guy with the shortest straw goes first. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Otis here. Man, that's a short straw. It's true what they say about Brazilians. But you can dance. It can dance. Hey, Otis here. Where'd you make your first knife?
The very first.
Details. This is not bullets like two men talking to each other. This is like you having a detailed conversation
Yeah.
with your wife.
Well, the very first. I made it.
Oh no, not the one that you made. Okay, yeah. That one counts. Go ahead. I know the story.
No, the very first. The very first, right? We're talking about the very first. Okay, yes, okay. So back in time, right? I must have been, I don't know, 15, 16.
Oh,
Back in Brazil. I
oh,
wanted a knife to go camping. I found a piece of leaf spring out of a Jeep, I guess, and I took an angle grinder and took it to work. Made a knife-like object. Used it a couple of times, and then somewhere along the way, I lost it. It looked like something made by a caveman trying to do something with steel, right? But as a shank, it looks pretty good. That was the very first one. I had a few attempts since then.
Here, just 1 second. Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Get this up here. Here we go.
O primeiro.
Did you get that?
Yep.
O primeiro.
Tornado.
The first.
There. I used Google Translate. I went to Portuguese for you because you were going like the very first like 12 times. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
That,
So
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
I want to make sure that I was thinking about
The right
that
one.
particular one, the right one.
Yeah.
They translate to Cajun too, just so you know here,
Oh yeah.
Joey. I'll hook you up
Oh,
there.
they do?
Yeah, man. No, that was yeah, man. That was Jamaican. Excuse me.
Yeah. No, you guys say, oh, me, yeah.
I go chicken in the corn can't grow, mama. Y'all know that song?
oh yeah.
Brushy one string, chicken in the corn can't grow, mama. Otis here.
Yeah.
So
Talk to me.
the leaf spring that you made, and what was tell us about your first attempt at saying, was it here in the U.S. or was it Brazil after that particular knife?
Yeah. After that, it was here.
Tell us about that knife.
Remember that
And the
movie?
tools and the methods you had.
Yeah, I mean, always angle grinder. Okay, up until the moment I bought a professional grinder, right?
Yeah.
Remember that movie, The Hunted?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I attempted making that knife, right? The tracker.
Mhm.
Again, out of a leaf spring. I had no idea what I was doing, so no heat treating, none at all. So I just grabbed a piece of leaf spring and went to work and got it close enough to the design. Put my spin on it, very pointy. I like pointy things,
Mm-hmm.
The original tracker on the movie is not as pointy
So
as
do
I
the
would like it to
so do
be.
the Manatee brothers, but go on.
I went to what you call it, Home Depot, and I bought some epoxy putty,
Mm-hmm.
and I shaped that into the handle of the knife
Oh,
with the
really? Well,
finger
that's interesting.
Oh,
grooves,
that's
That's
like
what I'm talking
interesting.
about.
some
Yeah.
right? So my nephew stole it from me. He still have it somewhere. I'm not gonna go looking for it and put my brand on it. So if somebody ever finds it, I'll deny that I made that. And then after a few years, man, I finally got interested in going a bit more serious. After getting tired of buying knives for skinning purposes, and here we are. You know,
Now a
the
master,
this
the
latest
master.
one. Well, not a master, but one day. So this latest one, I got inspired by the old frontiersman style buoys. Um,
Describe that
not as
knife.
rough, not as rough of a finish because I like my stuff nice and clean. But I put a an ash guard in there. Textured the ash
Oh,
guard.
that's sweet, buddy. Well
Uh,
done.
put
Mm.
a
Was it
nice spacer and a beautiful coffin handle in there with an octagon grind on it.
what's the guard and the spacer made out of, Odyssey?
The guard is 5160, which by the way I hardened and tempered, so it'll withstand some abuse, and the spacer is just mild steel.
Oh yeah.
Did you patinaed it?
The guard and the spacer, yes, I did.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
that
so
looks good,
so
man.
so I don't
That
know
looks
anything
good.
about making knives. You're going to walk me through this here. The knife that you're holding up is very much similar to it's a buoy in length with a nice sharp point on the end of it, and then you've got an S guard that's very rustic looking, almost looks a little bit like um, uh, uh, not cast iron. What's the steel I'm talking about here?
Wrought iron.
Right
Wrought iron,
on.
excuse me. Yeah, and then you've got a beautiful maple burl. It looks like handle. It's brown and tan. People can see this on the Rivers Experience on Facebook and also the Knives Templar uh, podcast on Facebook as well. See this knife, but on the knife itself, you've got an octagon handle, coffin shape, and it's very very clean edges. So, talk to us. Where did you select? Why did you select the steel that you selected? What is the steel?
Steel for the
That
blade or
the blade, yes.
the blade is 80 CRV2. I'm very comfortable with this steel. Have good results with it. So you know, went back to it. The first one I tried,
What do you find about the 80 CRV2 that is appealing to you? So the
believe it or
listeners would know.
not,
Yeah.
easy to heat treat, and the final results that I get with it is nice and hard, flexible enough, holds a good edge. I mean, what else can you ask from a steel? I mean, unless you're looking for something, that is very exotic and you can put some crazy hamon in it,
Hmm.
then it's not good for that. But if you
How,
just
how
want
how about
something
sanding?
reliable,
Now you're sanding this. Do you harden and then grind it out, or you grinding it then hardening and then going back and sanding again?
um, so I will shape it, grind my bevels, grind my ricasso, grind my tang. Then I go to the heat treating process, hardening, tempering. After that, I go back into the grinder. I clean all the decarb,
Right.
grind everything again with the 120. Go to my Harbor Freight disc sander, smooth the edges on both sides.
Oh wow.
So if you look, I don't know, people won't be able to see this on the cast, but if you look on the reflection there, there is no waves or dimples,
Right.
right? It's done via a disc grinder, so both
Wow.
sides are as flat as I can get.
Hmm.
After that, then I'll just hit
What
it with a good old elbow grease and 220, 400, 600, call it done.
Now,
You could go.
what are you using for sanding rods
Uh,
or sanding
I'm not using
sticks?
sanding rods. I'm using 3M Stick It Gold.
Yeah.
Comes on a roll.
Hmm.
I have an old file that I smoothed it out all around.
Hmm.
Still nice and square. One side is just the steel, the other side is leather,
Gotcha.
and I will alternate and keep on
Well,
working.
that takes me to a friend of mine that I don't know if y'all know him or not, but he makes sanding sticks. His name's Kyle Daly, and you can see his stuff over at
Oh
khdailyKnives.com. Some of the
yeah.
products
I've
he's
seen
got,
those. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and I will tell you that may be my Christmas present to you guys that don't. Y'all have sanding sticks from Kyle Daly? Any of you?
No, I do not.
No,
No,
I'd
I
like
would
to
be
get
interested
some.
in the hollow grinder.
Yeah.
I'm I really
Oh,
want to
the
make
hollow.
a hollow,
Yeah.
Me too.
ground knife.
Yeah, he's got
Uh,
the sanding sticks for that, or the sanding angles, or whatever you call them.
yep, yep, yep.
But I'm not going to buy that for you. That's too expensive. But I might buy you a sanding stick this year. But I wanted to tell people to go out to khdaily.com to be sure and take care of that, because Kyle supports our podcast. He's got his own podcast over at Knife Perspective, and
Amen.
he's known very well in the community. He's just one heck of a great
Yeah.
guy, great knife
Super
maker.
awesome guy.
We want to throw him some love. So go out and take a
Yeah,
look
he
at
is.
Kyle Daly's, not only a sanding stick, buy a knife for 12 while you're there. So Otis here, you love sanding.
I wouldn't use the word love,
Ooh.
right?
Well, I'm not talking love American style.
He
I'm
just
talking.
knows it's a necessity to
See,
acquire.
the thing is, right? Um, if you want a knife that is going to be accepted by, say, the ABS, and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
test eventually for journeyman
Which you're gonna
or
you have you
masters,
got
it has to be hand sanded
Sanded.
and
did
satin
you
finished.
Yep.
did you have you already applied and got your
Not
AB?
yet.
Are
I
you
mean, I'm
okay?
going to. There will be a gathering here by the Bill Moran
Yeah,
Institute in Maryland next weekend, actually, and I will talk to them, and maybe I get affiliated by them, or I can do it by myself. It's just,
we're gonna get a
I'm a bit lazy.
GoFundMe so that you'll just go ahead and join. I know it's not about money. Just go ahead and do it and start your 2-year window.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, one of the greatest knife makers we know, who was a journeyman and probably well on to being a master before you know it, has said that you're in like Flynn. Join,
That's
join. So with the steel though, you are progressing out. When you come out of heat treat, talk me about the grits that you're going to get that final beautiful matte finish you get on your knives.
I don't hit treat. I mean, like I said,
Yeah,
I hit it back with my 120 at my 2x72.
yeah.
I will regrind everything, remove all the decarb as much as I can, then go back to my cheapy Harbor Freight. This grinder is like a 4-inch grinder, and I hit it with a 320 actually there. Clean everything again. Then I start, hand sanding 220, 400, and I ended at 600. I could go higher, up to 1,000, but then it starts to get a bit too shiny,
Hmm.
and a shiny carbon steel knife. It is not
Yeah, I
good.
don't.
I mean, the
I,
first tomato, onion
Yep.
piece of meat that you
yeah.
cut is going to stain real. I won't say real bad, but it's going to start
Yeah.
to stain, right? And
and
people don't like it.
Patina
So
it.
there's a difference in losing that shine on a mirror polish versus a, like you're saying, up to 600-800. Now you finish off with Scotch Brite, don't you? Scotch Brite and oil
Scotch Brite and Windex.
and Windex. I started using Windex. I used I buy gallons of WD-40.
You know what the
Win
best part about Windex?
it,
It doesn't rust your blade as you're sanding.
Yep.
right, right,
Yep.
right.
That's right.
And so I started using Windex many knives ago, and I've got a gallon of WD-40 if anybody would like to buy it, because I don't have much of it. I've got a lifetime supply of WD-40 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Myself.
And people should know, guys, is WD-40 something you should put on your knives to prevent rust?
I
No.
don't know.
No.
WD-40 is not a lubricant, is it? What
Nope.
is WD-40? Let's tell the
Water
listeners.
displacement.
Water
Well,
displacement.
there is a different kind of WD-40. I
It's
have
a
a
good
friend of
cleaner.
mine who is a
Yep.
collector,
Yeah.
and he uses a different. He showed me. I forgot to take a picture of it. It's not the
Silicone?
run-of-the-mill WD-40. It's a bit thicker. It's more like a gel.
Is it
Yeah.
silicone? The
Yeah,
silicone?
no. It's more
I
like a
have some of
gel.
that.
It's not
Yeah.
this. I have the silicone one, the little black bottle. I
Mm-hmm.
have that. This
Yeah.
one is more like a gel. It's very thick.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you made a good point though. Put that on a cracker. You said that water displacement, which is the WD, and the thing is that if you've been using a knife and you want to clean it, wash it, clean it, hit it with that WD-40, and it will clean it up, and then oil it.
Yep.
But don't use WD-40 as your lubricant. And so we get back to where we were. Yeah, Windex is like the perfect juice for neutralizing,
Mm-hmm.
sanding,
Mm-hmm.
everything. It's good stuff.
Yep. Yeah. So how do I say? I
Yeah.
put that juice on everything.
Yeah, I've had to threaten my wife if she runs out of if my wife runs out of Windex, she's not to come out to my shop and get my bulk bottle and
It's
fill up
like,
hers.
you ever seen that show, My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Remember the
Yep.
dad? He
Yeah.
sprayed Windex on everything.
So you've taken me to the blade now. Why did you choose the guards that you did?
The Ash Guard? Well,
Yeah,
I've been wanting to make one like this for a long time. The problem is I'm always on a rush and I'm getting lazy,
because
right?
your traditional type of guard is a
Single, single
s-
guard.
yes, yes, and but those are very beautiful, and they're very they're shaped, beautifully.
Yeah, but this one, the S type, the S shaped guard, this gives that little extra flair to the knife, right?
It gave it a
More
very
of
cool.
a
Yeah.
traditional frontiersman kind of fighter uh, buoy and stuff. So I wanted to try something new, something different I haven't done before. I made a couple of elliptical guards.
Hmm.
No, not elliptical, ellipse guard,
Hmm.
right? And it's all right, but this S-shaped guard, oh, I love it. It's
It's
And you
beautiful,
can
man.
see
Looks good too.
this knife over at our buddy who's got almost 37,000 subscribers. That is Eric Rivers at the riversexperience.com. He's on Facebook and YouTube where you'll see the 37,000 subscribers. Right now Eric's got going on a knife talk. He's got Knife Talk Tuesday, but he's also got a live show with Eric where he comes on and interacts with his fan base and subscribers. I've watched a couple of those shows, and when he's interacting, he's making parts, he's hammering out, he's assembling, he's telling you how and why we choose the different materials for the handles we do. So I encourage you to go out and visit Eric at the Rivers Experience on YouTube and the Rivers Experience on Facebook. You'll be glad that you did. And you can also see him at the riversexperience.com and see some of the most beautiful knives he makes. I own one of Eric's knives, and I will tell you, they are gorgeous. I own one of yours too, Otis here. So why did you choose the wood in the handle that you did? I know you put the piece of mild steel in the guard up ahead of that, which is beautiful. And then you followed that up with a piece. Is that a piece of Oleg's wood?
no, I had this one from before.
Did you?
This is just a natural stabilized maple burrow.
Yeah.
Um, I I thought it would make a good match for the overall look of the knife.
Right.
Um, Went with a coffin shape also.
That's new for
First
you also.
is a first also.
Mhm.
So I mean, this whole knife is a first of a first of a first, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So first time making a coffin, first time making an octagon, first time making an S shape. First time having a knife where the belly is completely, circle from the foot of the choy all the way to the tip.
Yeah.
I have no flat in there. It's just one continuous circle.
Now, how did you put the false edge that you've got running on the top of that? Because there's a curve in there. So are you doing that on a curved
Yeah,
wheel or you
it's a clip. No, no, no. I mean the clip. Yeah, I have a my hollow wheel, so I
yeah,
ground the clip with the hollow wheel,
right?
and the false edge. I will use my tilt table to
Okay.
grind it in.
With just a regular flat platen or
Yeah, yeah,
oh okay.
flat
So you're
platinum.
able to get that and just roll it in there like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. The detail here, right? Um, when I try to explain it to people, not knife people, they look at me like I have, 7 heads or something.
Yeah. No,
There's a lot going
just one big
on a
round
knife
one.
like this,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot going on. So you have the clip, you have the
Yeah.
false edge.
Right.
From the clip to the tip, I have a distal taper there, right? From the back of the clip to my ricasso, You may not. I think you can see it in there. There's a slight hollow right there,
Yep,
I
you see
see it.
it.
right? So this is not. So the spine is not flat, and the cutting edge is a continuous belly, right?
Yes,
Without
yes.
any flat spots in there. So a very technical. I want to use the word technical. Very technical build in there, man. It was a challenge. It took me after I broke the first one. It took. I can say this one 2 weeks working on this knife.
Right. Who's going to get that knife for free?
Nobody. Nobody.
Nobody.
This one is gonna stay on my locker here.
I got
Oh.
you. You don't even get it for free because there's a lot of blood and sweat in that knife.
Actually, there is blood on it because I busted my
Oh
left
man, I seen that.
indicator when I was grinding on my on the
Man, buddy.
spacer.
Man,
Yeah,
that hurt.
explain that. Is that a piece of steel that cut you, or was that the belt, or what was it?
There was the spacer spinning around,
It got you good.
and yeah, it got me good. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep some of that medical grade super glue in my shop
Mm-hmm.
and some butterflies and stuff in case I need to. And I got a couple combat wound stoppers too. So just in case, I'm always ready to
Yep.
apply
That's a
pressure. And
good idea.
yeah, you can
And
get
all
the.
it takes is a fraction of a second, a
That's
little
true.
brain fart, and done. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. And some people may say, hey, that's just kind of it's just what kind of happens in what we do. You're going to get knuckle grinds and this, that, and the some it is, but you always need to be prepared because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Oh yeah,
We just
absolutely.
yeah, we just want to make sure it's nothing serious. What kind of sheath you making for that beautiful knife?
I will draw something tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I was thinking about shipping it to Joey and have him do it.
Ooh,
But he's kind of far. He might not return my knife. So I said, you know what? Nah, I changed my
Oh
mind.
my gosh,
Yeah,
man.
I'm gonna say it was serious.
Yeah, that was
I don't
cold.
know, man.
That's cold.
That
Joey's
thing looks
got
pretty.
Joey's got some 2 fresh manatee skins that he's drying out right now. You may be.
Yep, I take it.
I'll slap them babies on there.
So, season 4, episode 38. To all the manatees I've loved before.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the title? To all the
That can
manatees
be.
I've loved before. I don't know. Don lives down in Florida.
Oh yeah.
You got
Yeah.
manatees up? You got manatees up your way, Don?
Me? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah, quite a bit.
That's
Sure
that's
do.
cool. That's cool. Do you ever swim with the manatees?
I have. Yep.
Have you?
Yes,
Are
sir.
they rather gentle creatures?
They don't bother you. They won't bother you at all.
Unless your brothers pin up in
They
a
kind of
shell
move
together.
away from you. If you get close, they just kind of move out from you.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
They were like the ones we saw were like 15 yards from us.
Yeah.
But
They just
Hey,
kind
I hear
of
they're tasty.
They what?
like bald eagle
I
and
hear
baby
they're
Yeah,
tasty like
oh.
bald eagle.
and
My
little
gosh.
little baby
Little
kittens.
stringy.
Yeah. So, Don,
Yes, sir.
I think Otisir has filled us in pretty good. And with that being said, speaking of grinders, I see your shirt, and I just want to make sure that people know that Kevin and Eric over there at Ameribraid.com out on the West Coast, fellas, they are innovators making some of the most beautiful grinders and accessory equipment. And when I say beautiful, I mean not only are they functional, great machines that make great knives, they're gorgeous machines. When you've got an Ameribraid grinder sitting in your shop, it's just about the most prettiest thing sitting in there
You
if you
better
take
know
care
it.
of it. Oh,
You
yeah.
know it.
It's a gorgeous machine. And, guys, you need to go out and check out Ameribraid.com and look for an opportunity to get you one of these machines because we've got 3 different packages. So you can get in at the price point you want. But what I really want you to do is you call Kevin up and you tell him that the Knives Templars sent you and see what he can do for you because he is a great customer service ambassador for his company. Otis here, zip it up and put it away. Or put it away, then zip it up. There you go. There you go.
I am.
zip it up, put it away, put it in a box, and send to
Yeah.
Joey.
Yeah.
Joey T.
to all the manatees I've loved before. That's the show title. Zip it. Don, what was the first knife you made?
I made a about a 6 1/4 inch knife. I put it on the thing. They seen it. I made
you
that
one of them
knife.
fleshers.
Yeah, one of them cut that finger. One of them cutting fingers knives. Kind of short for my hand anyway, but you could also see that I had a smile when I cut the grind. It was smiling at you. Oh man, and that's that was a smiler right there.
You
That's
know,
8670. That was out of 8670 pop steel, and
So
out of a forge. That was
did
out
you
of a
get that?
forge.
Did you get that from Luke?
What's that? 8670.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the first time you and Luke first
I
met?
see it.
Yeah.
So this was your first knife. You just decided I'm going to make a knife. You looked up the supply folks and you went and ordered some 8670.
Well, what I did is when I first watched my first video on how to make a knife, it was back in around October of, let me see, around the 1st of October of 2020.
Yeah.
And I started watching. I watched, what's his name? Outdoors 55. Y'all know him.
Yep.
We sure do. Great guy.
Great guy. And then I watched A. Lee Knives out of Missouri. Him.
Another
And
great, yeah.
And the third one I watched was Eric Rivers. And then from there on, Simple Little Life, and then Walter Sorrells and all that. But
when did you make your way down to Shegman Knives?
I think
You
it
didn't
was.
get that. You didn't
It was
get that far
later
in the
on.
search engine. Didn't get that
No.
far in the search engines.
No, it wasn't. It didn't come up. Oh,
as long
my
as you're being, I believe in telling the truth. That's good.
Yep.
That's good.
Well, I started looking around, and I remember last I told Eric the other day when we was on last time. I said, "Man, I appreciate you because we was talking about grinders having a VFD to slow the grinder down. When I seen that as a wood turner, if you got a big lathe, you want a VFD. Okay, you don't want to be able to turn that speed down. And I knew you have to have a VFD. And when I seen Eric's, first time I was watching Eric, man, that sucker wide open, man. I went, dear Lord. I said, I will know. So I started taking notes, and I'm thinking, okay, if I get a grinder, I need a grinder. I need a small wheel attachment. I also need one that would go horizontal, and it's got to have VFD, 2x72. And I started studying, looking around, and Mare Braid popped up. And then I ended up calling Eric out there at Mare Braid. And what really sold me about a Mare Braid is their customer service.
Oh, yeah.
I called him and left a message. Hey, this is Don Watson from Florida. I'm calling about one of your grinders. And it wasn't probably 10 minutes. He called me back. Mr. Watson, how you doing? And we got talking, and I ended up ordering my grinder, I think around July. It was probably in February, March, April. And I got my grinder in because I had like 7 weeks wait back then because of COVID and all that crap. And it was kind of an 8-week wait. But anyway, I got it in 7.5 weeks. So I got it in June, around the first week of June. I had my forge. I had a 2-burner forge. I had everything except my grinder. I had the steel, 8670. Pops came about through watching a video with Jason Knight. Everybody knows Mr. Jason Knight. He mentioned Pops Knife Supply on a video, and I went, Pops. I said, that Pops sounds really cool, And he goes, oh, they're down there in Georgia. I went, really? Down around the Atlanta area, or something like that. And so I went on and Googled them and called them, and Andy Roy answered.
Wow.
And I said, Andy, this is Don Watson. Hey, man. I said, I'm from Florida. He goes, yeah, I used to live down in Florida. I said, oh, okay. And I told him I'm a new knife maker. I need to find a good steel. I already knew I didn't want to run 1095 because it's kind of a steel you have to really work at. And he goes, Don, you need 8670, Pops 8670. He said, and then you can just quench it in peanut oil. So I went down and got a couple of gallons of peanut oil, and that's how I started. And that knife that y'all see there was my first knife that I cut.
So is that orange Asajj?
No, that is mahogany.
Mahogany.
African mahogany. Yeah.
Can I tell you, I got a little beef to grind with you guys?
Go ahead, man.
Oh, wait, there we go. Let me see who did that. Who did that? Was that Joey? Joey?
Put that on a cracker.
No, that was Otis here. Otis here.
No,
Okay. I've
that
got
was
Otis
me.
here. I got Otis here and Joey. Okay. I just want to say thank you because I was about to get upset because everybody's sending out pictures of their first knives to each other. And
I don't have one.
everybody's putting all those hearts all over their pictures, and I wasn't getting any hearts until Joey popped one on there. So
There you go.
I'm verklempt with love. Thank you, Joey, for making Otis here and the other two follow suit.
It kind of looks like Outdoors 55.
Well,
Yep,
I'll tell you
it
about
does.
I'll tell you about that knife. I'll tell you about it a little bit later. You talking about mine or
what is
Yeah,
that wood you
yours.
chose there, Chip?
Yeah, right. What is that? An oak handle?
What? Nah, man, that looks like he cut off a piece of a broom handle and put it on the.
you guys?
Well, it looks like hickory or ash.
That's what it
You
looks
guys-
like oak.
You guys are getting ahead of yourselves on the show here. So Don, you
All right,
were
go
you made this first knife, and I see something very it's a beautiful knife. Don't ever get rid of this knife.
Oh, I won't.
I see something. That a
I
lot of
thought
people.
Don was fixing to say.
I wouldn't give
He
it
gone.
away.
He gone.
When I look at this knife, you make the most beautiful knives these days, and this is a beautiful knife. But when I look at it, I see your plunge line run a little bit high there, and other than that, it's gorgeous. But that plunge line running a little bit high, every one of us do it when we first get starting out, and that's what I mean. That's reminiscent. That's when you own a knife maker's first 10 knives, probably the most valuable knives he's ever made. So you need to go find that one, Otis, here that you made. But that is such a special knife. And when I say that, it's an endearing compliment because that first knife really speaks volumes to where you've come, even in the beauty of that first knife.
Yeah, that's the most
something else.
valuable knife. That was a very expensive knife right there.
My first knife was about my first knife was about
how much
$1,800.
did that first run you?
That first knife cost me, well, $3,000 for a grinder, $200 for a forge, $20 in peanut oil, another $100 in belts and steel.
My wife said,
little...
"Why didn't you just go buy a knife?" That's what she told me when I made my first. And now she says, "You're giving that knife away. You're giving that knife away," meaning I'm not charging enough for some of the knives I'm sending out. But we've come a long way.
I get that all the time.
Yeah. So that is Are you giving them their Nancy? That's none of your business. Uh-oh.
What?
Then I wake up off the floor. So everything is your wife's business, guys. But with that being said, so Don,
yes, sir.
What's your most recent knife you've made, and tell us about that one?
My recent, I don't have it in here. I cut out, I don't know, 5 or 6 knives out of 8670. I found out I'm starting to move more over to stainless. I want to go more stainless. And I'm going to go, I do 440C, which is outstanding still. But I also going to step in to do more of Nitro V. I like the way it Nitro V grinds after heat treat versus 440C. I've ground some now, and it's kind of like it grinds a little bit better. More, it's not as sticky grinding. I don't know. Have you ground any of it, Joey? Have you ground 440C?
Yes.
And stickiness. It's kind of like a stickiness when it grinds.
Right.
It's not something.
Right.
But I drew
before
out
or after heat treat.
Huh?
The stickiness before or after heat treat?
After heat treat.
After.
Still sticky?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of
Have you tried S30V?
No, I have not. No.
One of my favorites.
No, I've never tried that. That's just one of the many.
Otis here?
S30V.
S30. No, never tried S30V.
No.
Nope.
That thing is as tough as it gets.
Mm.
I don't use it a lot anymore. I mean, very seldom use S30V. It's a pain once it's hardened
Mm-hmm.
and you want to hand sand that thing. Forget about it.
Yep.
It ain't happening.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. It's,
Well,
it's not gonna happen. I swear.
well,
It's
when we come
magic.
back to
Tried
the,
it and I tried it and I tried it, and at the end of the day, okay, you know what? I went out and I bought me a bead blaster and I blasted the whole thing to get rid of the scratches
Yep.
instead
Yep.
of hand sanding it, man.
That's
That's right.
exactly why I want a blaster.
let
Amen.
me
Yep.
ask you. Let me ask you guys a quick question here collectively to see if you have the answer. Whoever gets this first wins the prize. So you're using new materials and materials you're not familiar with. Where's a great place you can go to find some great tips to make knives much easier?
Oh,
Pops.
I mean, yeah.
I learned from Pops.
You can call the guys up at Pops, YouTube, TRE,
Mm-hmm.
Eric's
Okay,
channel.
so
Very Eric
so
does a wonderful job of
How
with
about
his
that guy from
videos.
Texas? What's his name again?
bingo.
Hey, this is Jason Fry. Today I want to
Ah,
share with you a little lesson I learned on vacation of all places. So I was fortunate to get a chance to go salmon fishing up in Kenai, Alaska, a place I'd never been before. And as a knife maker, of course, I was interested in what kind of knives the fishing guides were using. And I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed to find out that they were using regular old cheap Dexter brand commercial fillet knives. And that was a little sad because, like, man, custom knife, right? But the knife for the job is the knife for the job. So I talked to a guy, incidentally named Bubba, who had his Dexter so used that it was ground down to nearly just barely 3/8 wide, really skinny, well used knife. And they like those knives because they resharpen easily in the field. So Cameron, my other guide, before he started skinning 30 salmon, took out a stone and real quick put a sharp edge on that knife that I was unimpressed with. At the same time, I was also kind of paying attention to what kind of knives the guides carried, just for everyday carry utility scenarios. And once again, I was kind of unimpressed. What they needed was not what I offer as a custom knife maker. They needed a reliable knife that could sharpen easily in the field, that, if they lost it, it wouldn't be a great loss. Well, Cameron, my guide, had a fairly modern Chinese Schrade fixed blade knife. Again, totally unremarkable, but it did the job for him. So I guess where I'm going with all this is when you go someplace unusual, someplace that's not where you're from, someplace that's not doing the things you usually do, pay attention. For me, I learned that the practicality and the field sharpening attributes of the knives that were used in Alaska was something I don't offer. So those guys aren't probably going to buy a custom knife from me. So today's tip is just to pay attention wherever you go. Look at what kind of knives the people there are using for the tasks, right? You can learn something about your market by paying attention to what people are actually using in places where you don't usually go. It was interesting. It may change a little bit about the kind of product I try to make and sell in the future. Pay attention wherever you go. There's knife making lessons all around. For tips like this, check out my book, Knife Making Hacks, available on my website, frycustomknives.com.
Otis here, where do you want me to send your major award?
Yeah,
I'll
it
text
totally
you my
went over
address
my
later.
head.
Mr. Jason, man, I saw some pictures of him fishing in
Yep.
Alaska. Man,
Oh,
they
yeah.
were pounding damn salmon, man.
Yeah,
He
he's
had a
putting my
stringer there. I don't know how many. I don't know, some 20 salmon hanging on the stringer or something like that
yeah.
down the stream. That was okay.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
the
Okay, now I'm
halibut.
jealous.
Did you see the halibut? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I saw some of those in a frying pan at his house. Matter of fact, guys, one of my projects in the future, I'm going to be making forks out of barbecue forks out of these 5 buckets of railroad ties I got, and I'm going to make I'm going to make a frying pan. I've got to make a frying pan. I've been
Cool.
watching people do that, so knife, a fork, and a frying pan. I'll be full service kitchen. Don, your most recent knife, you're using a lot of 8670 and
Yeah. I just drew out one here about last week. Cut it all out 86.7. I'm going to do a Tonto style knife.
mm-hmm.
It'll be about 8.25 inch long. Um,
Are you
I'm working
copying me?
on
And I'm working on something just like it. It's
Tonto.
almost finished, by the way.
I
Odysseer, you're too worried about being
Yes.
watched by the black helicopters. They don't exist. You're
It
fine.
happens. It happens. I mean, there's a lot of choppers
This is
flying around here in
this is
Maryland. You know, you
this is
never
what
know who's
happens
watching.
when you live in Washington D.C. What is that song I heard out there today that the guys north of Richmond just want to be rich or something like that? It's you guys go look it up. It's the latest and greatest. But you're going to make a Tanto, you said.
Tonto style blade. I've been working on that.
You're going to use that to cut tomatoes.
No, I think
They're called
and
tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
tomatoes,
Tanto.
maters. No, they're
Tan-
maters down here. We call them maters.
Tanto. Anyway, go
Maters.
ahead.
But no, I just something different. I wanted to try. I drew one out. It feels good in the hand, but I hadn't put a handle on nothing. Just grinding it out, getting that. And really, I got the idea from the Rivers experience. I watched him. I went back and watched some of his old videos when he ground the Tonto style knife. I had to grind the front wedge, the front bevel.
Right.
Grind the first bevel, and then you go in and grind your top wedge if you want to put a swedge on that top, or do your top and then do the side and then do the front, whichever. And that's what I did. I mean, I got it from him. I learned how to do that. But yeah, just something different, man. You know what I mean? Just trying the skill out.
Well, you keep growing that way. That's for sure.
Yeah. You got to make knives to get good at making knives. You got to make knives. That's why you take something like Pop's 8670, a very, very outstanding steel.
And where can people go to see Pop's 8670?
Pop's Knife Supply. Pop's dot supply.
Or popsknifesupply.com as well.
Yep. Either way.
Yep. Popsknife.supply or popsknifesupplies.com.
Exactly.
Joey's checking that out right now. He's typing away, checking it out. Are we right, Joey?
Yep.
Yeah, we're right. We've got to continue to grow, and that's what I see. So I'm going to jump in here because I don't want to go last because Joey's got a beautiful story to tell as well, and I don't want to take anything away from that. Is also my first knife, and it's just a Scandinavian grind because I didn't know how. Everybody that makes their first knife usually grinds it up about a 1/4 inch, and whoo, that was good. So I'll just stop right there. But here's how it went. I had my beard, and I had a friend in Norway who had his beard, and we all belonged to a Scandinavian Norwegian beard club called Skjegmen Niver or Skjegmen Klubben. It means beard club. And how I came about joining a Norwegian beard club, that's just an effect of COVID. COVID took us so many places, and it took me to knife making as well. I've always been quite crafty, but my friend Kai Schmidrud was a big outdoorsman, loves trout fishing, loves camping and backpacking and stuff. He was so excited he was gonna go out and buy a new buck knife. And I'm like, a buck knife? We get those for $17 at the store over here. They're quite expensive over there. I said, well, you can buy it. It was expensive. And I said, but let me make you a knife. I never made a knife in my life. So I went on you. Yeah. So
I mean, how hard could it be, huh?
How hard
could it be?
Yeah. So I went on YouTube and I came across. Who do you guys think I came across?
Mr. Rivers.
9. See, you missed that one. I take your award back.
Oh no, your Polish guy,
Polish man.
Oh,
Trollski. You can watch a video out there. It's about 9 years old. It's called a Small Knife is Made. And not only did he make this knife, he went out in the forest backpacking, which is what I do, and he poured some coffee and just enjoyed his day in the forest. And I was like, that was romantic and I don't mean in a sense of love. I mean in a sense of poetry. It was just like, that's the knife maker I want to be. I want to be the guy that makes this artistic, beautiful knife with these tools and goes out and drinks coffee in the forest. That's wonderful. And then I found Outdoors 55. I found Sorrels. I found somebody you guys have left off who was a great influence on me is Art of Craftsmanship. And also he made he was making his first video I saw of his. He was making a knife for his daughter out of a deer femur that they had found on the side of the road. He was using it for the handle. And I thought all this was just the coolest stuff in the world. So everybody you mentioned, plus those other ones I added on there. And I proceeded to go to what is that site that has all of the knife designs on it that you can download?
Oh, DC
Dick Knight,
Knives?
Dick Knight, yeah, DC
yeah.
Knight. And I
Not Dick
found
Knife, DC Knives.
DC knives or something like
Did
that.
he say
to all the manatees I've loved before. anyway, I thought it was Dick Knight Knives. As in like Richard Knight Knives, but it's DC Knives. Okay, I got you.
DC Knives.
DC Knives?
You know, this is
the guy's name's Dustin Como.
Okay, this is elder abuse at this point, guys.
Yeah,
I'm calling the FBI. So anyway, Dick Knives. I went to that website, and DC Knives, and I found a design I thought I would like. And the reason I went for that design is because it didn't have a lot of curves in it. It was just a simple bushcraft knife. And I figured, being a backpacker, bushcraft, appealed to me, the word. So, and honestly, the pattern versus the finished knife that y'all see is totally different because there's a lot of curves missing in that knife. The handle's a lot fatter.
That's
but
good.
I went to Amazon and ordered me some high grade knife steel 1095 from Mr.
Ooh.
Volcano. I saw some.
Okay.
I figured I had some brass pins from Hobby Lobby. I had some. I knew I needed some epoxy for the handle, and I had some white oak trim boards from Lowe's that had not been used sitting in my shop. So I had handle material. So I cut out that knife on my 1x30 and took it to the 1x30 and ground it. I cut it out with an angle grinder. My first knife was about $1,800 too, done, just so you know. Most of it was spent at Harbor Freight. So I cut out the shape of the angle grinder, kept about burned out a bunch of 80 and 40 grip belts off a 1x30 from Harbor Freight.
Oh yeah.
You push in so hard the belt would just stop and the motor go until you let it go. And you'd have to push the belt to make it want to go again. And so I got that. But I was smart enough. I did go out and purchase from a guy, Little Bear Knives. I ordered the 1x30 little 1x3" or 4" glass platen because I knew I needed it. Yeah. So I ordered that, got it all done, got that little 1/2" Scandi grind in it. And I needed to harden it. So I looked up, forges, simple forges. I had a hair dryer, some black pipe with holes drilled in it, and a hole I dug in the ground that I lined it, I don't know why, with fire brick. And I sat out there and I poured cowboy charcoal in it, and I put that knife down in it with some used motor oil from Tankersley's Automotive here in Hartselle because I'm friends with them, and in a 1 gallon pail that looks like a 5-gallon pail, but it's a wash tub, but it's like a 1 gallon wash tub. And I sat there in the backyard, and you can actually see that video on YouTube. I'll send you guys a link because it's funny. I reached in with my pliers. I had a set of extra long needle nose pliers, and I reached in and grabbed that knife and pulled it out, and there was just the handle.
You burnt the steel.
I had got that fire so hot I melted that clump down in there. After the fire was put out, I found it, and I've still got those 2 pieces sitting in my shop as my first knife.
Beautiful.
Then
Put that in a shadow box.
I immediately went in because you got 3 pieces of steel at 1095 from Mr. Volcano. I immediately went in, and 2 hours later, or 3 hours later, what it is, I had another one. So I went back out and I heat treated the other one. Probably not even. I probably didn't get it to 800 degrees because I was afraid I'd melt it. But it was glowing some form of yellow, and or orange or red, and I quenched it, and I didn't check it for hardness because I didn't know you had to do that. I just figured it was hard. Now I'd gone through the steps, and I put it in the oven and smoked up and set off the smoke detector because all the oil on it was smoking out of the oven. And man, boy, did I sand that thing nice and pretty. I had left probably a nickel's width thickness on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
I'll get back to that in a minute. So I glued my white oak on there and went out and dipped it in linseed oil and got it all cleaned up and ready to go. Still had vertical scratches in it and horizontal scratches in it because, new knife makers, we learn how to get scratches out over time. And so I learned how to Berg. Y'all know Berg, the guy that does all the stuff. Yep.
DIY EasyCraft.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
EasyCraft.
DIY EasyCraft.
Yes, we got to
Maybe
get him
work.
on this show sometime.
Yeah.
He is so crafty, and I learned how
Mhm.
to do a maker's mark, and I went and had somebody make me a little stencil to make a maker's mark, and I made my first etcher out of a 0.5 amp battery trickle charger. Let me tell you, I didn't get a deep etch at all, but I got an etch, and then I went to sharpen it. I bought a Smith sharpening system set of stones, 3 little stones from uh, Lowe's, and it's not a great set. It's a good little field set for around the house, but it's not for taking a nickel's width steel down to a cutting edge. So,
Yeah.
like 5 hours of sharpening later, I had finally got to the point where at least it was touching, but it was still like a butter knife, wouldn't go anything. So then I got out my old Smith, the one where you've got it and you drag it through the opposing steel edges, kind of like a mousetrap, and I drug it through that thing and drug that steel off for the next probably 30 minutes or an hour to the point it would cut something. I was done. So I made a sheath that was just as ugly, and I put it in a box, and it cost $100 to ship this thing to Norway. And when he got it, he was so tickled and so proud of that knife that I had sent him. And it cut. It was a nice knife. He still got it. It touched my heart that I had made this thing that I thought was the most beautiful thing in the world. And he liked it. And I look at the picture of it today, and it's still a beautiful knife because it was my first one. But I have a good buddy named Lane who I showed that to, who is a knife maker. And the first time he saw it, he critiqued the heck out of that knife and hurt my feelings, almost made me cry. And 4 years later, Lane's like, you make really beautiful knives, Chip. You've come a long way, and it makes me feel good. And 4 years later, I realized he was exactly right in everything he was telling me. I was just too butthurt to listen to him when he started listing, like when he got to like number 100 that I needed to correct. I was like, this is going way too far. So that was my first knife. So it's over. My first knife is in Norway. My first attempt at making a knife is in my shop, and it's still a handle and a clump of steel with a little point on the end of it. So that's the first one.
Isn't it amazing how hot charcoal can get?
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
It's
For sure. So yeah, that video is that video is out there on YouTube. I never took it off any of my early knife making ones because number one, it's historical and they're almost amusing to go out and watch at times. And besides, it's only got like 3 views, so it's not like anybody's gonna look at it and laugh at me anyway. My current knife, and I'm getting ready to start 2 really cool knives here this weekend. But the one I just finished most recently is one I call the Katuna, and it's the second one I've made, and I made it for a friend of mine, Joel St. Germain, who is a professional fisherman, fish Bassmaster Classic and on ESPN, Charlie Moore Show, and this, that, and the other. Real good guy. when he's not doing his day job. He's also a professional saltwater fisherman. Matter of fact, here recently, um, he went out. Somebody got kids in the background?
That's probably me.
That's all right. He just go give him a teaspoon of Tabasco and send him to bed. The It's fine. We're a family. We're a family show, and give him a teaspoon of habanero and send him to bed. No. We're a family show. That's fine, Joey. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't my grandkids downstairs. The so he went out recently, went tuna fishing, and caught 17 blues and one yellowfin. And his boat was a massacre of tuna blood. I mean, it's just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen if you're a tuna fisherman, because tunas are bleeders. But he brings all that stuff back and um, uh, freezes it and eats it fresh and this, that, and the other. It's just a wonderful experience if you love tuna. So what I did to make a tuna knife, I looked at that and I was really inspired by, when somebody asked me, I looked it up. I was really inspired by the fact that they're typically Asian knives. The Taiwanese, the Japanese, the Chinese make the majority of them. You'll see some made in India. You'll see some made in South America and some other places. But the Japanese and the Chinese, the Asian community really specializes in these, and they come from whatever chunk of plate steel they've got, whatever old saw they've got, and a lot of it's just beat out by hand. They'll set and draw the knife on a piece of cardboard, cut it out with a rough pair of shears, looks like sheep shears, and they draw it on this piece of steel and they cut it out and they go to it with hammers, and they're grinding it with angle grinders or stones or this, that, and the other. And theirs are typically hidden tang knives. They've got a sharp point, and they burn that point through a round handle, and then they tap it over to secure it in. Gorgeous. I would love to make a tuna knife with an Asian maker over there. If I ever had that opportunity, I'd pay $1,000 to do it. So what did I do? I went with a very similar shape, but I didn't want to copy what the Asians were doing, except in form and function, from a functional knife standpoint. So I copied that typical kind of rounded off, real deep belly knife. It's a unique looking knife, and if you go to my site at shagmanknives.com, it's easier to find it for Americans to type in beardmanknives.com. And you can see my Katuna knives on the knives page. That I wanted to follow some traditional lines, but I didn't want that traditional just round handle. I wanted something that was a little more modern, something that stood out. And I've always really admired Odysseus handles. He's got some of the most beautiful handles I've seen. Not taking anything away from the rest of you guys. His handles are artwork. So I grabbed one of Odysseus' pictures of his knives, blew it up, and expanded it and put it over. And Lotus just like, those ugly handles don't look anything like mine, Chip. What are you talking about? but I expanded it, blew it up, and set it over my template and traced it out and got a general shape. And my first one certainly didn't look anything like Odysseus. And my second one's looking closer, certainly nothing like Odysseus. Every maker's got the way he makes knives, and you can usually tell who's making something by their own lines. It's almost like a fingerprint. But I was inspired by Odysseus, and that's the type of handle I put on it. And then I was inspired by somebody else. I went and had Pops get me a sheet of 1/4 inch thick by 8 or 10 inches wide by 4 feet long of 8670. And my buddy Don inspired me on something he was doing.
Yes, sir.
I went out and got a tilt table and a tilt platen, and I tilted that platen over it 50 something degrees, and then when I set that, I set my angle for my knife, I believe it was at 5 or 7 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And then I covered my tilt table in blue tape.
Yep.
So I wouldn't scratch it, and I cleaned it often. And I also overlapped the tape from the bottom up so that anything running off wouldn't get hung up in the lines of the tape. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yeah. That's
Mm-hmm.
what
Yeah,
I
so
do.
Shingle
it would,
like.
yeah, shingle like, so I could brush it off.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I had a paintbrush out there, a 4-inch wide paintbrush, and I worked slowly, and I brushed it and used very little water, sometimes a little Windex to clean that table. It worked beautifully on both sides. I was so amazed. I marked my angles with a black marker where my start and stop point was, and I went up. And as soon as I would hit that belt, running it about 30%, and just slowly make that arc across. And when I was done, I was so um, honored and a little struck that Mark Vasallo said it looked like it was CNC'd on both
Yep.
sides,
It looked like it
and
did.
it touched me that I didn't think it was capable. Now Don knows that if you hit that tilt button too hard or you ride the knife too high up, I mean you can gouge a steel. So
Yep.
there's some mechanical ability that has to take place. But if you're doing a large knife like that, and you can do small knives and this, that, and the other, but if you're doing is it a ulu knife? Is that the Eskimo knife, the ulu? If you're doing a
Yep.
ulu or anything with a curved handle like that, or even an axe head or something, man, those tilt tables are wonderful.
Yep.
Like I
It
said, I
does.
almost got a CNC effect. Uh, got it down to about a dime's thickness. Put it in my Majestic. Uh, Tempt it with some thermocouples that I finally got some thermocouples, and I've got them on Amazon. They show
Yep.
them over at the uh, uh, Alabama Custom Knife Makers Guild meeting. And
Can
you can go out and buy a fluke, but you can get these other ones much
That's what
cheaper.
I got. I got a
And
fluke.
so I got it in at like 1550 or whatever the temperature is for that, and I held it there for
Yep.
10 minutes.
8670.
Yep,
Yep.
and held it there for the 10 minutes. I quenched it in some
Pinto
Par-
sauce.
Parks 50, my friend, but I do have pinto sauce as well. I use Parks 50 on this, and actually the 8670. I think they say that AAA is the preferred quench
No.
oil, but I've got
No,
Parks 50.
Parks 50.
Oh,
Parks
is it
50.
Parks
I
50?
gotta
Okay,
get me
Yeah,
some of
it's
them
Parks 50.
8670 and try it on pinto sauce.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
want you to do. Yep.
I've been having some inconsistent results with AAA, but anyway, sorry, Chip,
Okay.
go ahead.
No. It's good. That's what this show's about. So I did use the right stuff.
Yep.
It came out so hard that the Manatees would have been excited. But
Yeah, you
the
better
thing
not.
is that the thing that got me was a 65 was just skating across it with ease. So I went and tempered it, brought it out, and went back and cleaned it up on that same tilt table, and took, just like Otis here saying, I hit it with 220. I went to 300. I think I went to 400, 600, and then I Scotch brighted it from there and got the most beautiful finish. I made a larger Shegman logo with the Bigfoot that's
Mm-hmm.
probably was like 3/4 of an inch long, and the proper height for the image, and it just came out so beautiful. Then I went to my buddy where you can find some of the best knife handle material in the world, all the way from Russia, knife-wood.com.
Mm-hmm.
Guys,
Yeah.
if you haven't seen Oleg's materials and the woods that he's producing, I think Maritime's carrying Oleg's wood now, is what we've heard. I'm sure other people will be soon, because he's got great customer service, one of the kindest people you'll ever meet, and makes some of the most beautiful handle materials out there. Makes pen stock too, I believe, but some of the most beautiful handle materials for us knife makers, whether it's um, uh, two-piece flats, or you want to buy some large stock to be able to do hidden tang. He's going to be able to do it. So go to knife-wood.com. But I wanted some ocean colors. So it has some blues and greens and yellows in it. And I put it on there. I was able to book match both sides perfectly. So where it crosses the stainless, it picks up those lines directly on the other side. Pin it in with brass, because it's a sea knife. Brass is a great sea metal. And then I sharpened it on an Ameribraid sharpening attachment. And got that thing down to use 600 at the end. I started out at 125, only because I had a 125 belt on there, and it was used 125, and then I went down to 600. Got almost a polished look on that, and took it to the 1x30 that I use now with a leather belt, and just went across it and stropped it a few times, and that thing goes through. I use magazine paper. I don't use tissue paper or phone book paper. But it went through newspaper. It went through magazine paper. So easy, and it was a really humid day, so I had to make sure that I was using dry paper. So I had to go in the house and find some additional stuff. And
Yeah, I
uh,
saw the video of yours.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
yeah, if you don't know if you've ever used humid paper, it's got a little moisture in it. It's a little harder. But I went and
Yep.
got dry paper, and I folded a newspaper over because if you look at the Asian tuna knife makers when they get done making them, they'll take a picture, or they'll take a piece of the newspaper they had read that day, and then they just start slicing it, and it did beautiful. So. I think she put the habanero juice in his mouth just now. Uh,
Like something, man. Like,
It's
geez.
okay. It's okay. It's a family show. It's all about being families. So the knife just came out beautifully. I put these knives in a gun case with the egg crate foam in them,
Yeah.
with some tags. I
I
throw
seen
in
that. It looked
some.
classy, man. Really nice. Like when
It
you did
really
that.
is. Throw some stickers on that. Yeah, and for the type of knife it is, I mean, you're gonna be carrying it onto a boat
Yeah.
and everything, and you can also spray some oil in that gun case. It'll constantly keep it lubricated. But
Yeah.
I also put a what is the gun oil that starts with a B? Bar? Is it bar, Joey?
Ballistol.
Yeah, I put a little
Ballast oil.
bottle of
Yeah. Yeah.
I put a
Ballast
little
oil.
bottle of that in there as well for him to keep it oiled up with, and just told him, hey, go with mineral oil. But if you don't have any oil, here, put this oil on it as well. He's a shooter, so he'll use it one way or the other. So I'm very pleased with that. I don't ever want to have to make another one. And actually, I'm joking. I wouldn't mind making another one, but it's very labor intensive because it's a heavy knife. It's a big piece of steel to carry around, and I'm glad I made it. But I wouldn't want to be in the business of making these. If I did, I'd probably go down to maybe 3/16 or 1/8 inch steel and try some lighter knives and smaller knives, because they actually make smaller knives as well. But with that being said, I do want you to know that on my particular Ameribraid, I was using Phoenix Abrasives belts, and I also use their flat sanding sheets. And at the beginning of the podcast, I was trying to figure it out, but it is Templar's 10 for a 10% discount off your order. You can download the app, or you can go straight to their website or give them a call on the phone, and Phoenix will hook you up with belts, and they go out almost immediately and at your door within a day or two. So go to phoenixabrasives.com and be sure and put in Templars 10 for 10% off of your order. Guys, that's my story. That's my story.
Good
Okay.
one. I really like the way that big old Katuna came out.
Yeah.
Well,
Like the
Nice.
the, the color of the handle, the whole shape of everything. That's more like a Pinto style knife in there than a chip knife.
you know what I'll tell you about that is all of us have developed this style of knives that we make, and like I said, knives are like footprints because the grinds, the materials, Joey's leather, your guards that you put on your knives, the shape of your knives, Don, the precision of your knives. Your knives, almost every one of them looks damn CNC'd. I hate you. Uh,
Dear Lord,
but you know, it's a love kind of hate, Don. It's a love kind of
man.
hate.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
called jealous love. But you were so talented. The Katuna knife that I make is something that probably the only thing I ever made knife making that came out of my cabeza, that I was influenced by other people, but
Mhm.
it was a definition knife for me. So that I thank you for that, because I think the same thing about you and your style of knives, that I could, if you threw knives down in a stack, I could pull out whose knife is whose very easy looking at your knives.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the thing about
Yeah.
it, man. Having your own style. But we're influenced by so many people today on
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube, and
Yeah.
There's so many different, styles that go into
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you,
designing,
yeah.
from designing to handle choice, so many, like Don said, you're influenced by so many different people. You want to, I'd like to think eventually, you get to a point where somebody said, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's a Pinto knife. That's a Don Watson knife right there. You
Yeah.
know, where you can you see the knife and know exactly, because they do things in a certain way where they just leave their mark on the knife.
Right, right. Yeah, I was
Um,
over at Kyle Royer's table, and I was like, "Dude, this is Pinto style here. What are you doing copying this?" And then I spit on his knife because I didn't want it to be a counterfeit of Pinto's
How do
knife.
you go? How do you go?
what did he do?
He just wiped it off.
Did he like grab it and was like,
No, it was so funny. I've told this over
or
the
is
last
that
4 episodes, and it's still funny, is that I was sitting there talking, and a little spittle just jumped out of my mouth and flew like Superman down to his blade. And
you were that excited talking to Kyle
I
Royer, I bet,
guess,
huh?
I guess,
Yeah.
I guess. And without breaking stride, he's talking to me. He reaches down and grabs a cloth, eyes still on my eyes, grabs the knife, picks it up, and wipes it with still
Just
talking to me and lays it back down, and the
well,
cloth
that's
goes down.
cool.
And at that point, I started apologizing. I said, I didn't realize I did that. I am so sorry. He's, but I still spit
Well,
on Kyle
at
Royer.
least he was nonchalant about it. He was like, yeah,
We've got to get him on this
all
show
right,
sometime so
yeah,
we can hear his view of this story, because
yeah.
I'm sure he will say, dude,
It would be nice.
I'm sure Kyle Royer would probably say, dude, I wiped spit off of my knives like 37 times during the show. You're just one of the
He's
idiots.
used to it. Was that sold?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was that sold? That knife sold?
For my,
I'm sure all
it,
Kyle's knives are
yeah,
sold.
It didn't
I'm
matter.
sure. I'm sure it was a $20,000 knife that was sold. Yes, for sure. So, Joey, your first knife.
Yep. Well, let's see. I sent y'all a picture in the group.
Oh yeah,
My first knife was was made out of a rasp
nice.
I
that
saw that.
that my wife's uncle gave me. He's a horse trainer, so he's always around farriers and whatnot. But this particular rasp, it was like one of the really old rasp. Um, he had got it out of a barn from some old farrier that was retired, and uh, it didn't look like any of like the modern day rasp. It was a lot different, and I wish I had more of these rasps because this rasp was actually made out of tool steel, some type of tool steel. I was told it was W2, uh, but you can kind of see a little quench line in it in the ridges at the top because um, when I made it, when I heat treated it, I edge quenched it with an oxygen acetylene torch,
Mm-hmm. I see that.
and which is all I had at the time. But um, so yeah, it pretty simple profile. The design, I think I kind of when I first started making this knife, I think I came upon Eric's channel. I think Eric was probably one of the first ones I came across.
Cool.
Would you just shut up? Because your knife looks like my 60th knife.
It looks good, man. That's
Oh,
real
come on
good.
now.
That's a beautiful knife, Joey. The handle.
Real
I'm
good.
looking particularly at the handle and your symmetry, your shape, the choice of pins. You even had your Boot State Forge logo in that. But
Yeah, I
it's
did
a
that after the
gorgeous.
fact.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous knife. Yeah.
Is that cherry?
The stamp, huh?
Cherry handle? What?
I went, so there's a Dino's. You guys have a Dino's Hardwoods store around y'all?
No.
No. Well, there's a Dino's Hardwoods. I don't know. It might be a Louisiana thing, but they carry all kind of exotic woods. I mean, it's a store for like wood turners.
Yep.
And they have like 3-inch tall 8x8 blocks of Osage orange, Purple Heart, Tuya Burl.
Yep.
And they have these 2x2 turning blocks. So I went over there and bought like, man, I don't know. I think I bought like $300 worth of wood. And I got some walnut, some maple, curly maple, I bought a block of Tuya burl, which is what this handle is.
Okay.
And I thought it was real pretty. And if you look at the top where that dark line is,
Yeah.
it actually had broke on me.
Really?
It did. It chipped off.
Oh,
There was
man.
an eye. There was an eye right there. And when I was gluing it up, or I'm sorry, when I was pinning the pins,
Mm-hmm. I see that.
it just kind of popped off. It was like pop. And I was like, oh man. So I super glued it back.
Yep. There you go.
and I super glued it back on, and I was like, well, I said, I'm probably, this is being my first, I'm gonna keep this one. And so yeah, my first was made out of a rasp. I just kind of followed Eric's footprint. I forgot. Yeah, I think he calls them like the heirloom line or
Yeah,
something.
he made an heirloom knife out of a file or something.
File,
like that.
yeah. So this kind of like, I copied a little bit of his profile, but not to the T. I kind of did the handle a little different.
When did you start making knives?
Let's see. I started making knives late 2019.
Yeah, about the time I got started as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so late
before COVID.
When was so? Let's see.
COVID was like was COVID like January of 19?
No, that was 2020.
January.
Okay.
March.
Yeah.
Of
So
2020.
yeah, I started making knives in August of 2019.
Okay, man.
Okay.
Y'all got me
so
beat.
yeah, I would be like probably December because it was wintertime. It was wintertime over here.
It was only 80. It was only 80 degrees, and
it was only 80. It was It was only. So,
now did you use a Majestic Forge at that time that you got at majesticforge.com, or were you how did you heat treat that first knife?
So I heat treated this knife and probably the next 6 knives with the oxygen acetylene torch.
Now, would you have been happy to have had a Majestic Forge at that time from majesticforge.com?
Oh, absolutely.
Good forge.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Very good forge.
Go ahead.
Very good. In my knife making quest, it didn't take me long to learn, like, yeah, I got to get some better tools. And
for all of us, we all realize that. Yeah.
And just like you and Don, this first knife probably it probably cost me about $2,000. Because after making it, it was like, a sickness was unleashed. It was like, oh yeah, I got to get this, I got to get this, got to get this. And as soon as I ground this knife on a 2x42. I think I got it from Granger.
Mm-hmm. I got the same one.
A Dayton.
Yep.
Is it 2x42 or 2x40?
2x42.
It's 2x42, and I came across combat abrasives.
Did you put the glass platens on it?
I did put the glass platen. I got a glass platen, matter of fact, from Pops. Pops was one of the first knife supply stores I ordered from.
Mine too.
Yep. And I got like some pin stock. I got some micarta from them. I soon after I made my first 6 knives are made out of rasp, the rasps that my wife's uncle gave me, and then I quickly moved on to some 1084 steel.
Good steel.
Yep. And then I made probably next 20 knives out of that, and then which is still my favorite steel. I love 1084.
Easy to work with, but dependable good steel too.
Yeah, absolutely. Easy to heat treat. Very forgiving in the heat treat.
It does take a hamon as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will. But you got to be a little spot on with the heat treat if you're trying to produce a hamon. It doesn't have as much carbon as like 1095 or 52100 or something like that. But because I've tried to make them own with 1084 and it just doesn't seem to work for me. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was my first knife. It's
Well,
got some Tuya bar.
what's your recent one? What's your most recent knife? It's a beautiful knife. See a beautiful. I saw some. Was it
I got a
Gator?
couple.
Well, go ahead.
I
You
got
go
a
ahead.
couple of them. I got what I call them, the little hunter I make. There's two styles of it. Just the handles are different, but the blade's the same. It's
Is
got
that
that clip.
the I'm a Barbie
That
girl
clip.
themed hunter you're making?
That's oh no, that one's coming up.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
one that
The pink handle. I'm a Barbie girl.
yep,
Yeah, gotcha.
yep. Pink and black with some
So
white
you'll
G10.
sell $1 billion worth of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, I there's a few I made. Heck, I even have a Trollsky knife in there.
Oh.
No, excuse me. You've got an actual Trollsky knife, or you made a Trollsky type knife?
I made a Trollsky knife, inspired Trollsky knife.
I was about to come down
It's
and
got some green box elder scales on it.
Did you go into the forest and make a cup of coffee? And
I went.
Go down to the
I
swamp.
went. I went down to the swamp at Swamp's Edge.
swamp
Yeah,
music. Yeah.
he can, man. He got them Rougarous running around in there, so it's kind of
Rougarou.
I got to
complicated.
be careful. Yeah, when I go down there, I need the little Rougarou Skinner I make. I got to bring it with me.
I hear you.
But I never feel like it's big enough. But that's why I'm like, man, you need to make a Pinto knife.
There you go.
Come down here.
Speaking of got to make a knife, I'm cutting you off because you mentioned Rougarou. And I was thinking that you need a bigger knife. That one I called Death by 1,000 Scratches that you would use on Rougarou. That little tiny knife. I gave it.
Death by 1,000 Scratches.
Yeah, I gave it to my daughter-in-law to be over vacation last week, so I got to make myself a new little tiny knife. So anyway, so your style and your leather. How is your leather working coming along with the machine? Are you doing a lot of sewing on that machine? Have you gone back to hand sewing? What do you prefer?
So most of the like pancake sheets I make, those little case trapper sheets, they're all sewn on. They're all machine sewn. And I've sewn a couple of sheets with it, but the reason I haven't been sewing all of my sheets with it because I don't like aesthetically I have a Cobra Class 3, and the specs say you can go down like a size 69 in thread, and but that machine's a real heavy duty machine, so when you do step down in thread size, you got to start messing with the tension, and you got to get the front looking right and the back side looking good, and so there's a lot of adjusting you got to do. So right now I'm trying to find a thread size that aesthetically looks good for my the way I make sheets. And right now I use a 277 size for the pancake sheets, which is not really the max that it can go. It'll go to 415, I think, and down to 69. But I'm settling somewhere around 207 thread for that machine. And when you do that, anytime you change thread or needle on the machine, you want to take whatever it is material that you're going to be sewing and do some test runs with it so you can get the tension right.
Right.
And so that's what I've been messing with. But I just hadn't got a chance to change the thread out on it. So the last couple of sheets I made have been hand sewn.
Yeah.
Which hand sewing is much prettier than machine. But once you get a machine set, you can make it look pretty good.
You are one of the premier leather sheath makers that I know that nobody's ever heard of. And what I mean by that, the masses haven't heard of you. The community has, and people that are buying your knives. I don't think it'll be that way 4 or 5 years from now. And I'm just talking about linear. That could be 6 months from now. But my point is that you're a hidden gem that people don't know about right now. And when they do start figuring out who you are by the more and more sheaths that get out there, just gorgeous stuff, Joey. gorgeous stuff. Matter of
I
fact,
appreciate
that
it.
inlay piece of gator that you're doing right now is
Yeah.
just something else. Just something else.
Yeah, man, I'm learning a lot with that right now. So actually, I took some 5-6 ounce leather.
Yeah.
Anytime you do an inlay, you want to do it thinner leather.
Do you use
So
that flour and water paste to connect the leather, or
I use it's called Elam 314.
that boy's slow tonight, ain't he? I'm ready for him to start saying, "Mama says, don't make fun of me." Mama says. However she said.
I must have missed something. What
You
I
did
missed?
the paper mache, the
Yeah.
paper mache glue to glue your sheets together.
The
Flour and water.
paper. Oh, see, my mind. See that?
He's still thinking
I'm just
about
scatterbrained, man. I'm
he's
scatterbrained.
still thinking about the manatees. Um,
Um, um, so where was I?
you were talking about when you went to catch the ball, you had missed and it hit you in the forehead.
That's right. Mama said. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. You were talking about using smaller weight leather to
Oh
do.
yeah,
Yeah,
doing the inlay.
yeah.
Yeah, that sheath, that gator inlay sheath. Yeah. So right now, what I'm doing is trying to. That gator's tough, man. It's pretty thick. It's probably about 3 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is that real gator?
yeah, oh yeah,
Oh, okay,
oh
cool.
yeah. It ain't Wally World gator, Otis here.
Gotcha.
It ain't Wally World. Um, no, I found a good source, and man, honestly, not a whole lot of money, Odie. Check out theleatherguy.com, and he sells his scraps. Like he'll sell his scraps, and he's got like stingray, cane toads, ostrich, um elephant, which I have some.
Elephant. Wow.
Manatee.
Yeah, man,
How
and
thick is
it's
it? I mean, I would guess
elephant. That
elephant
one.
skin is like
I'll
a
send you a
tire.
picture of a sheath I did. I don't know. I guess it's like 5-6 ounce.
Is there a
Is that
market for
it?
Um,
elephant? Are people eating elephants?
Oh yeah,
I
they
guess
do.
the pygmies in Zimbabwe. I mean,
I'm
I
just
don't know.
curious. I'm just
India.
I'm
India.
just curious. Hey, listen. I'm not trying to get all environmental or anything with you. When I sit and use like natural materials like that, I always look at what happens with the rest of the animal is all its reason. And I'm not questioning your use. That's why
Oh,
I
I
asked.
mean, I mean, no, and I'm. Hey, look, I'm sensitive to that too,
I
and
know you are.
um,
I'm not.
it may have been an elephant that was in a zoo that kind of reached his life
Very
expectancy. I
well could
mean,
have. Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
know, but I mean, obviously, I hope it's not an elephant that had been poached, but
Right.
um, but no, I mean, all this exotic leather is beautiful, especially when you do an inlay or
Yeah. So
you.
the bald eagle that you're using, that was reasonably sourced and served at some dinner.
I just want to say and make this clear: I have never ever used bald eagle. Just want the listeners to know that I don't want to be that guy.
And with that being said, my friends, I just have one thing to say.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Joey has eaten no eagle.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Didn't mean that to end, but you were talking about eagles, and I had something that said eagles, so I just had to, and we were at 2 hours, so I was like, well, that's perfect. That's
Oh, I better
perfect.
wrap this up then. So
You're fine. People can turn off their radios and go to the next episode, or they can continue listening to this fine broadcast. But before going further, I just hope that the guy that hates my advertisements is listening tonight and writes in next time that he likes the new format of let's just referencing our sponsors. And with that being said, be sure to go to Byford's Gun and Pawn on Facebook. They'll meet you with friendly smiles and faces. Go get your guns and supplies at Byford's.gun or Byford's Guns on Facebook. Joey, you're writing down
yep,
Byford's. You may get you the phone number.
Yep, I'm looking
right.
for a 300 Win Mag right now. So
Don't think you can take that back across lines. You'll have to buy that in your own state.
oh,
What can you can buy rifles, you just can't buy handguns across state lines, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
go. You're
You can
fine.
buy long guns.
Come see me.
Yeah.
Come see me. I'll put you up. Anyway, you were saying leather.
So leather, yeah, I'm working with the inlay. So I got it. I got the little window cut right now. I think I sent y'all a picture. I have the gator in there, and then I have the piece that I cut out the window,
Yeah.
pushed back into the window with the gator in there, and I put weights on it, and I wet the gator so it would kind of take the shape of that window, and
Yeah.
it worked. Yeah, it kind of made an impression, a little ridge around where it sits.
Oh wow.
So once it does that, I'm gonna take the paper mache glue and go to work on it
Listen now,
and glue it up.
he's firing back now. He's firing
Yeah,
back
yeah,
funnies.
yeah, yeah. And I'll take some 2 3 ounce leather and put that completely over the backside of that front piece. So
Good.
and then I'll put some stitching across all of it.
Now
You
that's
need
a
to make
build right there, man. That's a build.
It is a build. It's a lot of work, but it's gonna look. It's for like copper knife.
Yeah,
Oh wow,
nice
that's
work.
Okay.
beautiful. Hey, by the way, congratulations on your kumai knives that you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
that's and so that's gonna be an awesome sheath for that blade.
Yeah.
Kind of excited about it. Yeah, that copper knife was a headache. I'm glad it's over. Like having that core in the center and trying to that core kind of wandered a little bit in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and so you gotta constantly etch it and see where it's at while you're grinding. And it was like, oh man, just trying to keep it centered and making sure that none of the copper's on the edge, and it was just
You
it
did
was a
wonderful.
headache. It turned out good.
Yeah.
The knife before that, it's actually everybody everybody that looks at both of them's like, well, you should have put that handle on that knife, the one that had the knife that actually had copper liners in it.
Yeah.
Um, everybody told me I should have. But I actually put some beautiful Oleg wood on that knife.
Yeah.
That black Carolyn birch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff came out good.
You can't say Oleg anymore. You're gonna upset our listener that doesn't like the advertisements. We've already plugged him 5 or 6 times now. Stop it.
Oleg.
Knife-wood.com. Well, guys, we are truly we're past our 2-hour mark, and one thing I want to point out is that I really like the format of this show. A little more freewheeling. Maybe we'll do this some more. We'll get some Pops guys back in here in an episode or so. So you guys that are lined up, please hang in there. We want to get you on. But going into season 5 here, next episode or the one after that, I think it's next episode we go into season 5. We are wanting to shake it up because nobody wanted to watch The Walking Dead season 10 because it was just the same thing over and over. So Pops Knife Supplies is our core, and the rest of it is to continue making it entertaining. I do know some people want us to bring back the new editions of the Odysseer Christmas special, and we'll maybe look for something for the Odysseer Fall Festival where he and Daddy can get back together while he's going out trying to hide his recipe for pinto sauce.
Okay, Daddy.
That ain't gonna happen, man.
If you don't do it, we will
No,
find.
Daddy.
Yeah, if you won't do it, we'll find somebody to stand in and do your name. But anyway, hey, listen, guys, if you have questions, comments, product reviews, show or guest ideas, send us a note at knivestemplars@yahoo.com. We want you to subscribe, and you can also DM us on Facebook at the Knives Templars podcast group. Again, see us at knivestemplars.com to always stay up to date. I'm going to take these pictures of our first knives and put them out in our little show notes so people can see some of the first knives we made maybe next to some of our most recent knives. So you guys, if you got a recent knife you've made, send that to me as well so I can put beside it. So we've got a linear history where we're at. Guys, I'll say it one more time for that guy that loves advertising. Our episode is sponsored by the Rivers Experience. And thank you, Eric Rivers, for helping your community night clean up from those storms.
Yeah,
Housemade. Yes, housemade.us, knife-wood.com, Ameribraid, Majestic Forge, Byford's Gun and Pawn, Pop's Knife Supplies, Maritime Knife Supplies, Phoenix Abrasives, and that Templar 10 discount off of your order. Be sure and put in Templars 10 at checkout. Guys, you can find us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Anchor, Amazon, CastBox, and many more. And guys, I just want you to say one last thing to everybody, and that is
good night.
Put that on a cracker.
Hasta la vista.
And
Bye.
guys and listeners, be blessed, because we couldn't have this show without you downloading and listening. We're blessed to have you as listeners. Thank you so much. Good night.
Have a great week.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Brought to you by Porkhouse Productions. Oinky oinky oinky.
Oinky oinky oinky.